Okay, so this is a video for the computer people and back of house people who need to learn how to use the light board. So I'm just going to walk you through setup. We've tried to make it super easy, and you can't switch cameras halfway through between front facing and back facing on my phone, so I could be out of frame or whatever. So I'm just going to flip around. Woo. Okay, so this is the new / old light board. This is the replacement one. It seems to work a lot better. And I'm just going to walk through step by step how to do it. So when you get here, if it's not already on, you want to press the button back here and just turn it on. It'll boot up. And whenever just like the old light board, whenever this takes control of the lights, okay, there we go. Whenever it takes control of the lights, it turns off the lights and then loads a preset. It just loaded the last thing it remembers, which was a profile that I was making, and so you can see that we have lights. The first thing you're going to want to check is that we're loaded on our profile, and honestly I would do this even if we are already loaded on our profile, because if another church was messing with it, they could have changed some settings. And so you're just going to hit these 3 arrows. This runs an Android platform, by the way, so if you're familiar with Android, you might already know this. And then Files. And you can see that the show name is Lake Samm, but again, I'm just going to hit Load Show. I'm going to hit Lake Samm. Open. It's going to load everything up. And okay, so you can see I got blinky lights, and I think that is because these lights are, like the faders are up, but no lights are selected. So I'm just going to make that go away. There we go. Okay. So here's the situation, we've set it to where all the lights are called fixtures, even though technically they're groups of lights. So when you first load it up, if this already isn't highlighted fixture, you're going to want to press this fixture button to make it fixture. This changes the function of the faders, so if it's not on fixture, it won't do anything. You can see if I zoom in that all the lights have a number on them, and that number corresponds to the channels over here. And you can see that if it's blue, it's not selected, and if it's green, it's selected. So if I reach over and I start turning up fader 1, it turns green and it turns up fader 1 there. And you can see fader 1 is those lights there. I've tried to make it super simple. We'll see if it works now that I've done a couple things. And put everything on presets. So you can see this stack here. It says pre-service. I'm just going to press play. And that's supposed to play the preset. You can see it doesn't. As I've been experimenting, I'm an IT guy, so I just power cycle. So I'm just going to go here and hit shut down. Power off. This sounds like a joke, but it's actually not. Yeah, so whenever I make changes on this board, it doesn't seem to like using this Q stack, and so we just have to force it to. I'm going to turn it back on. Maybe press and hold. I don't think that's necessary. I think I was just impatient. Okay, and we're back. And so pre-service is loaded here, and it's there. All you have to do is, assuming it works, is press play, and it scrolls to the next one, which is magenta, and you can see that it has this beautiful magenta. I can hit play again, and now it goes to blue, and oh wait, I want to go back to magenta. You can actually hit the pause button to go back, and it goes back to magenta. I have one labeled sermon, and you see that's up here. The next one is blue, and the next one's sermon, so I'm just going to hit the play button twice. And it's going to go to sermon, and it fades that in. That's what the sermon will look like. And then I created a new one. Oh, I forgot to save it. Never mind. I'm going to create a new one right here called video. So when a video plays, we can like dim some of the lights. And then we have just mains only. So that would be like at the end of a service where we don't want any lights on. Here's what I'm trying to do with this is I'm trying to avoid any, you shouldn't have to touch any of these dials over here. If everything's working correctly, all we care about are these pre-done stacks. And you may be saying, darn, I really wanted to play and explore. We don't want to use Sunday morning for that. So if you are a creative type and you're like, I really want to see if I can find a color profile that really matches a background we have or something like that, feel free and work with Adam or someone on staff and come in midweek, set it, we'll add it to this queue stack and we'll add it to the list. So because of that, I just want to say, like, these buttons will help you, or these dials will like let you change colors, and you can go into the menus and change colors and things, but I actually don't want you to do that. We just want to stick with this, because as you could see at the beginning of this video, when I started messing with settings, it sort of broke the queue stack stuff. So all you should be touching is Grandmaster to 100. If it's not, make it to 100. Is queue stack up to 100? If not, put that up to 100, and then just play and pause. The last thing I'll say about this board is it uses what's called, I forget the name of it, last takes precedence, I think is what it's called, as opposed to our last board had highest takes precedence, and we can't change this, otherwise we would. And what that means is usually if we have like this dial and this dial are controlling the lights, and usually whatever the highest one is would win. But with this board, last takes precedence. So if I just bump this down a little bit, then now, even though this one's at 100 and this one's saying that the house light should be at 100, this one's saying it should only be at 50. And so this one, because it's the last one I touched, it's gonna win. And you may not be able to see it, but the lights are darker than they were. But the other thing too is if you go all the way down to 0, then this takes back over. Like, it disables this. So, which is why if you're trying to like be clever and you slowly dim and then it'll just pop back up, it's because this is controlling that light too. So for that reason, don't touch that. Instead, all we care about is this: pre-service, magenta, blue, and so on. And you know what? I think I just learned why. I think this is why I had to reboot it a second ago. So try this. I don't know for sure that this will work, but if you bump something or mess with something and it's not working, try and wiggle this down to like 80 and then back up, so that way this takes over, and then I think that should fix your play buttons. So that's just a quick summary of this board and how we're going to use it. If you have any questions, well, I'm a volunteer, so don't ask me. Ask Adam or Kurt or anyone else on staff, and they'll help work it out. And I'm saying that tongue-in-cheek, but for real, I am actually a volunteer now, and it is nice to be able to come on a Sunday morning when I'm not serving and just worship and not be responsible for things. So I just would ask you to respect that. When I'm here and I'm serving, I'm happy to help, and of course I'm happy to answer any questions, but I'm not on staff, and I really highly value entering into God's presence as a body, so please allow me to do that. Cool. So that's the summary. I'll see you guys on Sunday.